Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. So welcome to the quantum realm as we meet my next guest. And she is known as a spiritual Indiana Jones. She is a modern-day mystic, and we are going to experience an inner initiation with Jonette Crowley, along with experiencing a soul-body fusion process, embodiment of the soul. So please welcome Jonette Crowley back to the show. Jonette, welcome to Quantum Conversations.
Thanks, Loren. It's been a few months and lots of exciting things in all of our lives, so thank you for having me back.
Yes, thank you. The things have changed since the beginning of this year, so let's talk about that. Have you experienced any episodes, any energy shifts, and what do you hear from the people that you work with all around the world?
You know, at the end of last year, I was asking my guides, because they always give me an overview of the year, and they said 2016 is the year of emergence. And to me, that's even bigger than transformation. It means something brand new emerges that might even be unknown. And, of course, it's a leap year. Monday's the leap day. So I actually have never seen consciousness change so quickly. I know I say this a lot, but in one of my first channel classes in January, my guide Mark transmitted something he called the cosmic inheritance. And it somehow blasted all of us who listened to it or were there to a state of, one person described it as it blew us into quarks. And it seemed that we're all diffused now. We're no longer just singular. We're much more quantum or multidimensional. And so as a result, I find there's more healing, there's more synchronicity, there's more magic, because we finally popped out of that bubble. We've emerged from this singular small self to this quantum world, and we're looking around, and it feels different. It really feels different in our bodies, in our meditations. So that's what I'm getting. Are you noticing something similar with your clients?
Oh, yes. The energy alone is a new frequency that some have never felt before. And when you were speaking about synchronicity, a quick story I'd like to share. Just on Saturday, we were out in our little neighborhood village, let's say, Niwot, and we were outside and we were standing in an area, and some other people came up, and once we introduced ourselves, we realized the common threads were something to pay attention to. We were connected in so many different ways through Taiwan, Hawaii, Guam, even Boulder, and then even one of the girls went to high school with me. So that was just fascinating. And then they left and they went on their way. And the next group of people that came over, we realized we were all standing in alphabetical order. So that's just a little thing on synchronicity, but these are things that are happening. And so we need to pay attention to those things.
Yes, and really accept them, pay attention, and let me share what happened to me. It was just last week, and I was jet-lagged, so I wasn't sleeping well, so I spent the wide-awake nights just meditating. And I was meditating I was praying. So in this case, I was asking for Americans to choose the best president. I don't have any idea who that might be, but God knows. And I'm asking for love and healing for the planet and health for my family and all the things you ask for. And, of course, they're all charitable things I'm asking for. And all of a sudden, this spinning geometric Merkaba shape of flower of life and a tetrahedron, spinning Merkaba tetrahedron was spinning around me, and it's as if I popped open, it's as if my heart popped out of a straitjacket, not just my heart, but my whole being. And my first words were, oh my gosh, I had no idea I was so closed and small before. Because I think I'm doing well. And it just popped open. Then I hear a voice, and it says, this is an initiation. It's probably been 17 years since I've had an inner initiation, and they are significant. And they always come when we don't expect them. Yes, we can have initiations at power places and in courses, but these inner ones are something. So I sit up in bed, I take it seriously, and I sit up in lotus position and think, oh, I should probably chant something. And so I'm trying out different chants, and none of them sound right. And finally, I just start saying simply, I am. It's not anything I've ever chanted before. And the breakthrough for me, Loren, was I became I am rather than just thinking about it. And what I realized is who I have been is I want. I want this for the planet. I want this for me. I want this for everyone I love. And I want has no room. It fills us up, and we have no room for I am. So the I want dissolved, and in its place this huge beingness of our divine light, our core essence, came into me. And now I am instead of I want. It was it sounds simple. Maybe I say that and everyone's going, well, of course, Jonette, we know that. But for me, it was a big deal. And with it came a lot of energetic shifts, expansions, a beautiful sense of I'm going to say heavenly tranquility. So I hope people are having their own initiations, and what we're going to do today with our little demonstration of soul body fusion, I think that's going to give people a kick in the butt to their next higher level.
Wow, that's so interesting. I really feel that you experienced the solar Christ light, the solar Christ consciousness. That's been reported. People are embodying this all across the globe. So that is a connection. So are you able to still feel that, or was that like a passing wave for a duration of time that came from that meditation? Are you able to hold it?
Great question. No, it stayed. It's now my new foundation, and I can feel it. I can feel normal, but underneath there's such bliss, and sometimes it comes to huge waves of bliss. Last night I couldn't sleep, and I'm sitting there with this grin on my face because I'm happy. So what if there's enough of us who have these solar experiences or the initiations up to whatever the next level is, that we begin to, of course, be the next tipping point for all of those who, aren't interested in growth, because they deserve to grow anyway. So I'm hoping I see it, and evidently you're seeing it too.
Well, it's beautiful. It's definitely happening, and those who are experiencing it will be the way showers for the next round. And that's a little bit what we're going to talk about today. We're going to experience the process that you have developed with Soul Body Fusion, and then I hope you can take us on that chant meditation. It seems simple, but it would be wonderful to experience that as well. And then we're going to talk briefly about how you are allowing, or you have a certification course for this process. So those folks who are ready to step into new things, there's a great opportunity there that we'll talk about with Soul Body Fusion and the healing process. So beautiful. Okay, before we go on, have you worked with the violet flame and experienced anything with that lately?
I haven't worked with it lately, but, I think all of these, what I find myself is in this golden plasma state, and I think the violet flame is just another aspect of these high states, and they have all kinds of different feels or textures, but I think when any of us get there, the first thing you notice is you become non-local. You're no longer just you. And that's when you say, okay, God, I surrender. Let me go on this journey and see who I really am. And that's when the fireworks happen.
Wow, that golden plasma state. That's a great description of it. Okay, well, we have some folks with their hands raised. I want to direct our callers to *2 if you'd like to share your experience of the soul body fusion process once we get that underway. And then you can always send in questions and comments over our chat line on this webpage too. So I know we've discussed this, and your earlier show talks about how you started with the soul body fusion. But can you share with us briefly why this is so important, this soul-body fusion?
Yeah, and that's a terrific question because, all of us are trying to get the most out of our life, to be happy, to be healthy, to be good people. And we do it through our spiritual practices. We do it through living well. And what I found personally is I thought I was doing a great job. And I was doing my meditation, and I was finding that I was very ungrounded in my meditation because I loved the higher spaces. And I think sometimes as soon as we're born, we start separating our body and soul. We have traumas, or we have disease, or we don't feel loved, or we wonder why we chose to come to Earth again, or whatever. And we start really disassociating from our body. We go, oh, this earth life stinks. I really don't feel accepted here. I don't feel whole here. So we unknowingly withdraw. And I think for most of us, our life is a process of actually almost withdrawing from ourselves, cutting off this emotion, cutting off this flow, cutting off this divinity. And then we wonder why we get depressed or unhappy or have difficult relationships or get ill. And I just thought it was the human condition until one day I realized, just by something I read, that most of us really are disconnected. So I took that and I said, oh, well, then I'm probably pretty disconnected. What can I do? So I just used my intention in the beginning to bring my soul or my divinity or my high frequency, whatever you call it, really grounding it into my cells, or maybe I should say bringing my cells or my body up to my divinity. So it's more like we move up to our higher self rather than our higher self moves down. And as soon as I did it, I didn't feel a change, but I had a knowing that something significant had happened. And then other people said something like, oh, Jonette, you look radiant today. And I'm thinking, yeah, really? I haven't even had breakfast yet. So I knew that some vibrational change had happened that I didn't physically pick up, but other people could see. So as an experimenter, I just started doing this thing through intention on other people. And the first woman I did it with had an enlightenment experience. I didn't even touch her. We're in the same room. She started shaking. I'm not touching her. She's shaking. She's crying. She's burping and embarrassed. And she's breaking through something that had been so old in her, she didn't even admit it was there, but I could see it. Afterwards, she went and slept for 12 hours, and when she woke up, her friend said it was as if she was enlightened. And so I thought, oh my gosh, what is this? And then I said, what should I call it? And it took me a few weeks to figure out that I could call it soul body fusion. And I just started doing it with friends and clients and had such amazing results. Sometimes healing of physical problems, diseases, bones healed quickly, depression healed quickly. In some cases, cancer began to heal. So I was getting so much feedback from people who were doing it that I started teaching it. And then they were doing it with people, and people were writing to me. So I wrote a book about it, Soul Body Fusion, that's now in 10 languages, and I have to say, Loren, I think we're giving a digital copy of Soul Body Fusion book with this. I better look at my, actually we're giving a copy of the Eagle and Condor book in our package. But anyway, so this took on a life of its own. I wasn't looking for this modality, but I call it the missing piece for healing and beyond, because I saw it brought healing, but it brought growth. It brought completion and wholeness and spiritual gifts and people understanding their mission, because finally their divinity got seated more fully in their body. And all across the map, different things happen that make people's lives better because they become them.
They become them, yes, that authentic self of who they are. And this really is where our life gets quantum, because when we are living with that embodiment of divinity, or the divinity is seated in every cell. I love what you said there, that we're bringing the body and the cells into that divinity. That is where it gets quantum and our lives change quickly.
Yes. And the quantum sense is not just metaphysical, it's physical. What I believe is happening from my research is our frequency is, of course, quickening, which enables us to let go of toxins and disease because they can't hold on to this higher frequency. And our body even gets a different glow. Bruce Lipton would call it biophotons. So there's a higher vibration of our photons in our cells communicating to the quantum world. So we are now more connected to, I'm going to call it life force energy, but just not the life force that runs through our life. We somehow are getting connected to the life force energy, the life force that animates everything and connects us to everything. So there's a compassion that comes, there's a healing, there's a, what I like to call uncaused well-being.
Uncaused. It's the natural state, of well-being.
Yeah.
Well, beautiful.
It is our state. And what I find is once we have uncaused well-being, once we kind of surrender into, wait, our state is divine, it creates caused well-being. It brings abundance and the right friends and the right relationships and the right people we know. So we have it backwards, I think. Sometimes we're looking for causes of well-being, and if we just settle right into that big throne of being well and happy, then riches and health is brought to our feet.
Settle into it. No need to force. We allow it. Okay. Well, let's experience this process of soul body fusion.
Okay. So what we'll do is we're going to do kind of a mini process of it, a transmission, and later, we'll get people to tell us what they're experiencing. And when we get to the packages, what people will be able to do is, of course, read about it, and we have a package where people can actually take the one-day course on DVD, so they can actually learn this. So while you're receiving this soul body fusion, know that it's something you can learn to do on yourself and other people. Okay, so let's give you some background, all of you who are listening. Find yourself a quiet place. Turn off the screen if you're looking up websites and things, and just sit back. Have your back straight. Put your palms up, your hands palms up. We do that because many people actually feel energy coming into their hands. Oops, I can feel it's already started. Okay, so I can't really contain the process. It doesn't happen just in the timeline I have. It's already happening. So sit there, and your job is to stay present. Sometimes the energies are so high you want to meditate or go flying around the universe. That's not the thing. Stay in your body. Keep scanning your body from the inside. How do my feet feel? How do my legs feel? What's happening in my heart, my stomach? So your job is to just notice what's happening. Most people, I'm going to say 80%, have physical sensations, heat or tingling or movement or laughing or something, or pressure, sometimes pain, so don't worry, you can't do it wrong. And now we're going to set the intention that this process, I'm not actually interfering. I'm not healing you. We're setting the intention that your soul, your most beautiful divine self, is invited to come as much as you can take right now, permanently into your cells. And you just sit there and experience it. I'll be quiet. Once in a while I'll talk, but just feel it. We'll do this for about 7 to 10 minutes. I'll be able to feel when it's mostly finished. Try to be still and not think. Just be present and observe your body. Every experience is okay. If you're not experiencing anything, that's fine too. Wow, I notice kind of a quantum leap that people's quantum nature is coming more into their bodies. So you might feel sparkly, you might feel heat, you might feel waves of vibration, tingling. And trust the process because your soul is doing it. We're not doing it from our small willpower and what we want. We're just giving our soul freedom to do what it knows is best for us. If you feel you need to expand, but stay in your body. Just let your body become more solid. Some of you are feeling lighter, some of you are feeling more heavy. Either is fine. Keep relaxing and letting your breath be slow. Many of you are feeling your chakras waking up. It seems like there's a lot of waking up starting from your crown chakra, which is interesting. But make sure your feet feel grounded so that this fusion, soul fusion, happens throughout your body and not just in your head and neck. Try to keep your mind still. Stay observing your body to give yourself something to do. Just scan yourself from the inside. Many of you feel your heart opening. Just enjoy that. And you may feel pressure or pain in your heart because it's been closed. That's fine. You're not going to have a problem. For many of you, it's getting faster now. There was a shift just this second. So notice if the feeling you have maybe has become more quantum, that you're truly at a different state than you were before. We'll do one more minute. There's quite a quickening I sense overall. It feels delicious. All right, we're going to pull back the energies a little bit, but know that it continues to happen. You can't stop it. You can't start it. Your soul's going to do what it needs to do, but we'll just ask you to be present enough to let us know what happened for you and just to continue listening to our conversation.
Yes, okay, wow, that is... You know, what's beautiful is that in such this short amount of time, to really be able to pay attention and feel that energy was really exquisite. At first, when you mentioned that we just put our hands up, there was definitely a pulsing electric vibration. And it was interesting to see how, you were saying keep it from hanging out around the crown, because that's definitely where I started to feel it. And then by grounding into the earth more, I really felt it on the solar plexus, personally, myself. And I could feel where I was blocking it. So that was really cool for me, because that's part of this allowance. And I got that it truly is a surrender to the divine will, to divinity.
Oh, I just have goosebumps on that, because what I realize is we all try to think ourselves through our, we say, what are our blocks? How can I fix them? And we try to think ourselves through everything. And that's the wrong direction. It really is surrender and allow. And it's so, look at how fast it is. It makes no sense that we could do this transmission sitting in different places on the phone, and everyone's around the world on their computer, and that most people will have had a profound physical or spiritual experience. How is that? It's because our divinity is so powerful and so yearning for us to surrender.
Mm-hmm. And so share a little bit more about what we do as a group. I mean, here we are all around our planet, and we are sharing. We're like this for ourselves. And right now, when you had us ground, now my feet are buzzing, and I have kind of a tingling in my calves, and that's really all that I feel through the legs. But what can you imagine what we're doing on this collective level with all these hearts that are sharing in this?
Yes. And if what I do is, whenever I think about it, I do soul body fusion for myself and the world. At first I thought I had to do it, one person at a time, and then I thought, well, that's a pretty slow way to affect consciousness. But now we realize we can do it on a teleseminar. We can do it in a book. We can do it by our intentions. So once you learn how to do this, you do it so much that you become a generator of soul body fusion. It's as if we lift to such a high frequency and a high balanced frequency, because a lot of us can go to high places, but we're not always integrated or harmonized there. But we get so harmonized now at the higher places that our being in our family changes our family. Our being in our community or our planet begins to change the planet. And it won't take very many of us, however we get to those higher vibrations and stay balanced, whether it's through your religion, your faith, soul body fusion, chanting, whatever. There's no magic pill. But when we get there, it really is affecting a shift. And I have to say, in the last 2 months, I always look at consciousness because I have the gift of being able to see it. I've noticed that the babies that have been born in the last 6 months are very different than any children, any indigos, any millennials, all those other names. These kids I'm calling quantum kids because they're already wired. Do you get goosebumps on this? Because I just got a big flood of it. Yeah. I just wrote a blog about it, but they are already wired for the places that we are kind of on our tippy toes reaching. So the transformation will be huge because we've done our bit, and now the universe or God, the divine, is bringing in these children in the next generations to take what we've started and take it where it needs to go.
Hallelujah. Powerful. So share a little bit more. That was fascinating that you see consciousness. What is that?
Isn't it? I can't even say how I see it, but I look and I can tell when humankind is stuck, and I don't care. I don't say, oh, well, that's over the Middle East or that's here or that's there. It doesn't matter. I just start bringing harmony to it. Because, again, we are at very high conscious places. We're conscious beings who've been asleep. And when we become awake conscious beings, we can put our intention and be almost godlike in the healings we can do, in the changes we can make. We can probably put our attention and change radioactivity, change pollution. I think there's no end to what we can do once we get out of our smallness and go into that collective divinity, not I'm the first to be enlightened divinity, but it's really the collective divinity. Yes,
okay. Well, I'd like to share the experiences of some of the folks from our audience. We have Teresa in San Francisco. She says, I sensed dark entities clamoring out of my being. Is this part of the process?
Oh, sweetheart, sometimes it is. Sometimes when you bring this high frequency in, people do experience, and sometimes they're dark entities that are our own creations or from our own past lives, and sometimes they're just not so friendly things that have started to hang on to us. So many people, when you increase the vibration, things that don't like that vibration have to be expelled, and it's instantaneous.
Okay. All right.
And let me also answer, I can hear their question. Is it permanent? Yes. Because higher frequencies always trump lower frequencies. So once you've raised your frequency, unless you consciously sit there and say, I want to go back down to the basement, because you're sovereign, you can do what you want, unless you consciously bring yourself down, no one outside yourself can impact you. Someone might, yell at you this evening, doesn't matter. You are permanently at this place. Now your job is to harmonize yourself, get your body used to it, kind of like getting used to a higher altitude. Get used to it. Get your life kind of used to this new light that you carry. Then do more and more soul-body fusions. So, because there's no end. Our soul is not finite. It's just the gateway to all divinity and all oneness and allness. So as we do it, it's permanent, but there's no end to how much we can increase.
Great. All right. Yes, okay, we have another person saying, yes, that energy was strong. The top of my head had so much pressure. There you go with that crown and the chakra. You nailed it. You pegged it, Jonette.
It
really
did. It was starting for almost everyone up top, which is interesting. Yeah.
And Sarah in New York says, thank you. At first I felt nothing, then tingling in my hands, then tears, then tenderness from inside out. A turquoise green light came in, and it became more steady of a flow of energy. She says, did I imagine all of it? I have no idea, but I had a glimpse of my inner being. Thank you. I feel I need to do it again.
Oh, that's such beautiful words she used, too. Yes. No, we're not imagining it. This is real, it's true, and it's transformational and permanent. I mean, how cool is this? I get to go around the world and teach this, and teach you to teach it, teach people to do it on their kids, teach their kids how to do it. I mean, it's so cool, and they can learn it so quickly.
That's how the world changes, right? More compassion, more love. We're living from a higher frequency. Solutions will come forth in our world when we're connected in this way. So beautiful. Thank you for going around the world with this, too. All right,
it's my pleasure.
Hey, it's Anune, I hope I said that right, in Kihei. She says, working with cancer, and this went to parts of the body that needs major healing. We'll use this frequency. And she writes, allow love. Beautiful.
For all of you who are suffering with illness, or, it works for addictions, because, whenever we get ill, we're not in the flow anymore. So this brings back our innate flow.
Our innate flow, yes, that natural part of us that we cut off from ourselves when we came into this world. Think about when we were little kids and we looked around, and eventually we knew that things were not right when we saw certain things on this planet. So thank you, Jonette. This is helping us to return to that innocence and that connection. And
it's an innocent power. What we're doing is reconnecting to our purity in a way that's so clean and powerful, but without the ego's power. It's a soul power that it's just so Christ-like.
Christ-like, yes, like the solar light, the Christed light, the Christed heart, the Christed grid. And I love that, because the purity, you could definitely feel it. And I know that we're all feeling it still. So let's go to a question, and this came from Gloria. in Cabo, and this came in before we did the process. So Gloria, please share with us again how you feel with this, because she says, help, I have never once in 60 years experienced anything like you described, an infusion. I don't ever feel anything despite years of meditations, activations, or healing programs. I would not even know I have chakras or a light body. So can you assist me today? I desire to be the best expanded version of myself.
Well, she sent it in before the transmission, but to all of you who never feel anything, let me say, I wrote the book, I started the process, and I didn't feel it the first time. I hardly ever feel it. I just know and assume and trust my soul, and then I get feedback from my life changes. So sometimes we try too hard. If we try to see something too hard, or we try to be like everyone else and feel lights and talk to God, and we don't. It's because we haven't accepted that our way might just be silent. So what I know is that your soul isn't going to not do what it needs to do for you. It's not going to say, well, we're going to give this to everyone else but you. So, and it's going to give it to you in the perfect way that it knows is best for you. So your intention, I would imagine, has been answered, and you just don't have the receipts for it yet, or the souvenirs for it yet.
Mm-hmm. And that's wonderful about intention, because when we do this work with that specific intention, it totally makes a difference. You can really tune into the feeling. And talk a little bit about the different ways that we feel too, because, you know, Gloria might be looking for a certain feeling, but she could be seeing colors or something and not even be aware that that is something.
Yes. Or, I mean, some people really feel nothing. I feel nothing, or I felt nothing when I first discovered it. So just give up having to get proof that you are changing. I mean, we don't have proof that when we went from 13 to 14, but everyone who saw us only once a year could see that we had grown. So just know that you, with that intention, if that's your intention, you cannot not grow and evolve and become your spiritual self. But sometimes we have such rigorous filters as to what we expect that we don't see what we have. Mm-hmm. And let me just go off of Gloria's comment for a second. I was doing a meditation last year, and a year and a half ago, and I was divorced and homeless, living with my brother. Not homeless like living in a car, but I had given up my big, beautiful house, and I was really lost. And so I was doing a meditation asking for things. You know, my car's 16 years old. I needed a house. And I was asking for things. And at the end of the meditation, because I saw this huge light, and I go, wow, whatever that was I connected to, that's a big thing. So I asked my guide, I said, is that a car? And I hear, it's not a car, Jonette. I go, whoa, but it's such a nice light. Is it a new house? And I hear, it's not a new house, Jonette. And I'm thinking, well, what is it? And I hear, it's a new life. Mm-hmm. And I realize I would have settled for a car, and the universe wanted to give me a new life because I wanted what I thought I wanted. So, again, it's getting out of I want anyway. You know, I want it to look this way and see what you really are given.
Yeah, that's also like when we talk about surrender and allowing, it's getting out of our own way of thinking what we need and what we have. Like you said, I want, that I wantness. Okay, beautiful. Now, Galina in Kharkov says, is it appropriate to not feel like being in the body after this fusion?
Ooh. Well, what we hope is that you feel more in the body. So maybe you're just in this odd place where your body's not used to having your spirit and you feel kind of out of kilter. This is a process, so it didn't end when I said, okay, let's talk about it. It goes on for at least 21 days. Let me just say that. And it's going to ebb and flow. Sometimes you're going to feel maybe some things cracking apart. And let me say about that, because when you raise your vibration, the things that you've put up with in your life, maybe the relationships or the jobs, or maybe you're a smoker and want to quit, some of those things change because your vibration no longer supports what you've allowed yourself to become. So notice that it might not all be smooth sailing because you had this transmission, but your soul won't give you any more than you can handle. It's been trying to get, if you need to change something, it's been trying to get your attention. So just pay attention, be aware of the shifts you make, the attitudes you have, the emotions that come up in really in the next 3 weeks or more.
Awareness. Okay. So Nicole in Boston says she loves the process and she's done it before, but she doesn't seem to keep the energy longer than the call. So how can we hold the energy?
Okay. I invite people not to focus on holding the energy. The energy is how we feel it in the beginning, but then the energy translates into our cells. It's as if our cells incorporate that higher vibration and we no longer feel it. So trust that it is activating, it is evolving in you, and you won't always feel it. Again, once you get used to it, then your body doesn't feel it anymore, and your body, then do it again and see if your body feels something different. But the energy, the sparkling and the feeling and the light, remember, that's not the fusion. We love that because it's kind of candy for us. The fusion is measured not by what you felt or what you feel after I do it. The fusion is measured by how does your life change. That's what we want. I really don't care if you jump up and down, you have tears, you have your kundalini opens up. That doesn't matter to me. Do you get happier and become more of who you are? Do you start cleaning up your life more in alignment with your divine plan?
Yes,
that's what's important.
Really,
so don't try to hold on to any of it.
Okay. It's really empowering. Yes. Okay. And Alexandra shares that she loved your explanation because she doesn't feel energy either. Okay, so beautiful. Well, great. So now we can learn to take this further and work with it in our lives. And we could do this process again, but you have a more in-depth process that you allow people to work with in your special offer. And then you also have that certification program. So this is really something that people, if they're working in the healing arts, that's a great thing, but that's not necessary. This is for anyone who wants to use this in any way.
Exactly. I teach teachers all over the world to teach Soul Body Fusion. I've written a book that's in 10 languages about it. But I'm always asking myself, what ways can I reach more people? Because I can't be on planes all the time. I need to reach people so they can start doing it on their own as part of a healing practice, or just to do it for them and their dog. So yeah, in our package we include it's a DVD class, but it's just downloadable, so that people can actually just watch me teach a class. So you get the same thing as if you took a class from me or a teacher, and that in conjunction with reading the book and practicing it on your family and your friends. It's good to practice on someone who can tell you what's happening rather than just your dog or your cat, but it does work for animals. Practicing, and then you'll have confidence that you can do it. I think mostly it's about confidence that, yes, you can learn to do it. It's very simple, and you can do it on yourself as much as you want, on other people directly, or on the world just in your prayers.
Okay, so go over for us what is involved in your package or included in your package and how people can work with that.
Okay, because we wanted to step it up, so we really have kind of a program that you just want it for you. And that's the first package. And really the first thing is you get an audio, which is a transmission from me. So you get what we just got, but I'm transmitting to you. And how I do that is when you sign up, I get a list of everyone who signs up. I put it on my altar, and I transmit to you. So this audio has 4 tracks, and it has 2 10-minute soul body fusions. It has 10 minutes where I'm describing it, and then it has a 10-minute track where it's as if you and I are doing a fusion on somebody you choose. Maybe you have a friend who has cancer. So it's as if I'm with you, and together we're doing this on your friend. So that's the first transmission. Then we, of course, have the digital copy of the book in English. Then I threw in, and you guys have to know, all you listeners, that Loren is a great advocate for all of you, because I had a very generous package that was worth so much more than you were paying. And Loren, I talked to her last week, and she says, "Oh, can't we add this and this?" So she is totally an advocate, and of course I said yes because I love her. So we
that's because your book is so cool. That one of your books is so cool in there, The Eagle and the Condor. So I'll let you share on that as you get there.
Yeah, okay, so let me just say, so we threw in not just the digital copy of Soul Body Fusion, but my other book, my bestseller book, The Eagle and the Condor, that's in 12 languages. And that is a great one. No, actually, it is the digital book, or did we decide? I think it's the audio book, didn't we?
Yes, it's the audio book.
Oh, that's so fun.
I know, it's cool.
So this Eagle and Condor is a spiritual journey, and you get to hear me. I recorded it. So you get to hear me, the author's voice, reading it. It's great for when you're on trips or you just download it onto your smartphone and listen to the book. You won't be able to break away from it. Okay, so let's go back to a couple other things. So along with Soul Body Fusion, you get this audio transmission where you listen to it and we do it together. And then remotely, I will do a month of Soul Body Fusion transmissions with you. So this isn't part of the audio. This is where I put your name on my altar and I connect with you. I'm going to do it every Wednesday. And it doesn't matter because your soul is beyond time and space, but that's so I have a schedule. Every Wednesday, just notice, sit there for 10 minutes or 20 minutes if you have it, with your palms up as if I'm transmitting directly to you. Do that every week. Once you sign up, it'll be for 1 month. Then the other two, there's so much in this. We just finished a 6-part series called Healing Myself. I do meditations every month in a subscription, so this was 6 months worth of our subscription. And it has so many levels of healing: physical healing, spiritual healing, past life healing, healing from planetary influences that we know nothing about healing. And when you get that, don't race through those. Please don't do more than 1 a week, and check your intuition. You might want to just do 1 every 2 weeks. These are all very powerful. As you can tell, I'm able to transmit pretty big energies, and it doesn't help you to think, oh, I got this on my computer, let's do them all now. Then, if people are looking on the website for the package, there's our Blue Moon activation, and I'm a spiritual Indiana Jones, so I go to power places and I bring up the energies and ancient activations that are there. And this Blue Moon activation, I channeled it on July 31st, which was the first Blue Moon in years. And it contains an activation of Deborah that came to us when we were meditating in Israel at a sacred place. It has a baptism sort of activation that happened when we were actually in the River Jordan in Israel. And it has I'm going to call it golden fire codes. I have no other name for it. So that blue moon activation is probably one of the most powerful things I've ever put together in one CD or audio. So they get that.
Good stuff. Really, really good. Thank you so much for that. And then tell us a little bit more about the certification course. That this is something that it's an online video. It all plays online, and people are certified to go and do this on other people as a business.
Yeah, so the next level it has two main parts in it. One is you get a one-on-one soul body fusion with one of our certified teachers, not just our certified practitioners, but they're at a higher level. They're our certified teachers. So you would connect with them. Let me make sure I have that right. Yes, so you get a personal, we do it on Skype or whatever. You'll get a personal session of soul body fusion with some of my people because I travel all the time. Then you will get this online video where it's got 5 parts, and it's just like taking a 5-day course from me. I'm teaching it. Last time I ran it, somebody says, I loved it, and he was so sweet. He goes, and I love you, Jonette. I love that. So they learn, they experience it, and we really ask you to not just watch it, but find someone to practice with, maybe get a partner and do it so that you feel what happens when you do it with someone else. So that's the most important part. You learn all the different ways to do it and all the things that are required or not required for it. And yes, you can set it up as a business. You're going to get a certificate that says you're a certified practitioner, which means I know you've had the course, you haven't just read the book and making it up on the fly, that you've actually been trained to do this. So it's exciting, and yours is the first time I have ever offered this outside my own website. So I'm excited to see what happens with people taking it this way. And just to tell people, if they want to go to the next level, Loren, after they take the DVD course, the video course, and they've practiced it, they are eligible to take my teacher training. And I'll have a teacher training in July in Denver. It's a 5-day intensive. It's very mastering, very fun, but very mastering of ourselves and teaching and soul body fusion. So if they're really looking to take it to the next level, the video course is first, practice, read the book, and then they can take the teacher's course in July in Denver.
Wow, you're really getting this out to the world. We're teaching the teachers and all of it. So thank you. That is available on the special offer button on this page. So now we're going to go to our phone line and take a few questions from our callers. Let's go up to Royal Oak, Michigan. The last numbers of the phone number are 8202. Hello, you're unmuted. What's your name, please?
Yeah, I'm Paul.
Hi, Paul. Do you have a question or a comment for Jonette?
Yeah, I've been doing the soul body fusion since about the middle of January when I heard you on another show, and it was really amazing. I mean, I felt it so strongly, feeling the energy come into me, and I do it. I started doing it every day for a while because it felt so good. It was kind of a go-to thing to really get on track. It's a great meditation, and then I read both your books too, which was really good background. So really amazing stuff.
Great, Paul. Well, I hope you keep doing it because, I mean, I've been doing it for I don't even know how many years since I wrote the book, but it's given me so many gifts. So I'm glad you're still feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it whenever I do it. So, I mean, do people sometimes do that? I mean, I know you said you only have to do it 3 times. It's kind of a minimum, but,
So I do say it's a minimum 3 times, because I don't want people to think, okay, got my soul, done that, check it off. That your soul's endless. So there's no end to how often you can do it. And after a while, I think we just become it, and we don't have to sit and say, oh, I'm going to do a 10 minutes or 20-minute soul body fusion session. I think we're just an open gate to our divinity to come continually.
Yes, of course.
Great,
Beautiful.
Paul.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great one. And so that brings up another question. Jenny in California says, I'm still feeling the tingling in my hands. Is this because the energy can't move forward? I'm not worried. I just want it all.
No. Tingling in the hands is the most common experience people have, tingling or heat in the hands. That's why I have you have your hands open. It means it's still just coming in. It's pouring into your hand chakras. All of this, you can't do it wrong. If there's a block, your soul will gently work its way around it with or without you knowing. So any of your physical sensations are fine, and they're and your soul is in charge. It won't hurt you, I promise. Promise.
Yes. Okay, that does make sense. Yeah. We can, the soul knows best, like Father knows best, and you cannot do it wrong. So Jenny has, this is another Jenny with a J, and it says, are there side effects or detox symptoms to the activations and healings?
Yes, there could be. That I suggest, and thank you, Jenny, for saying this, because I forgot, drink lots of water now. Because what happens is when these vibrations come to your body begins to dump toxins and poisons and things that aren't good for it. So drink water so you flush it out. Sometimes if you don't, you get headaches. Sometimes if you do, you get headaches because you had a lot to flush out. Sometimes when I've done it and had a huge change, I felt kind of fluish the next day. I felt achy and with a low fever, but I never really got sick. It lasted a day, and then I was fine. So I realized that was, again, a major detoxing. So, again, your soul won't hurt you. And so just pay attention, and if something happens, if you get a bad headache or something, just say, wow, I'm really glad that's leaving me. It's things that don't serve me leaving me.
Yes. Okay. Good reminder on that.
And be aware. I know a person who didn't even intend to, but he stopped drinking. He wasn't an alcoholic. He just enjoyed wine, and he can't drink anymore. And some people have spontaneously quit smoking. It's been used very well, and you'll find out when you read the book, for depression, eating disorders, things that you can't cure any other way. And the reason we have them is because we're probably not fully present.
Yes, and so this is a nice high class of self-love. This is what we can give to it, and the soul gives that to us. So beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to our phone line. Let's go to Leominster, Massachusetts, and this is 0631. Hi, what's your name, please?
Hi, this is Gloria.
Hi, Gloria.
I guess all my questions have been answered. I think it's trusting that it happens.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I know, it's like, how come it's like sometimes I get this sense like, oh yeah, there it is, and then it's like, oh, where'd it go? I go in from I guess a knowing to a doubting. Will I ever
darn.
stay at the knowing? I know.
Exactly.
How do I stay at the knowing?
And Gloria, once we get to the knowing, then we don't need all that proof. So the more we need proof that something happened, the more we're keeping ourselves out of the knowing.
Oh. Whoa. Oh.
Got it?
I know. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. I was questioning, like how come, why I was doing, like why that was happening. So thank you. It's like I don't even know if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
like it's like I get a lot of signs. I mean, overwhelming signs. And then it's like, really? I'm there? Really? It happened? You know? And it's like, oh, how'd I get here? So thank you. So when I stop, say it again. Say it again.
And this is true for every level of spiritual growth. When we require proof, like, well, I want to feel it. I want to see God. I want to, be able to know I healed. When we require proof, it keeps us out of knowing. And God, the universe just says, oh, she wants to live in the proof world. Okay, we'll keep her in that level. But if she really wants to go to the high world, she's just going to have to surrender and be in stillness.
Ooh, okay. Gotcha. I got it.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lorraine. Oh, you're beautiful, both of you. Thank you.
Well, Gloria, you have us all laughing with you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
How foolish of me to keep wanting proof. Thank you.
All of us. I'm so glad you spoke because we're all guilty of that. I'm telling you things, but I'm guilty of it too. Because we like the souvenirs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like no way could it just happen easily. Like I don't know what I'm expecting. Like a big bang or something. And it's like it's subtle and it's there. So thank you, thank you. I don't need proof.
Thank you.
That's like, oh my goodness. That's like, do we need proof of 2012 anymore? I remember on December 22nd in 2012, I got a little depressed. But now we know exactly what happened. So, we just have to allow and observe and be aware, as you said. So it's beautiful. Okay, let's go to New York City. The last numbers of the phone number are 2116. You're unmuted. What's your name? And no one's there. I'll keep your mic open for a moment. But let's see. I think that is about it. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. We can hear you. What's your name?
So sorry I had to unmute. My name is Kate, and I'm actually in Sedona, Arizona at the moment, and thank you so much for taking my call.
Hi, Kate.
Hi. And I would love some wisdom about finding love or meeting a soulmate. I'm 41 and I've never been married, and that's one of my biggest intentions right now.
Because this show's about this, bringing in our divinity, what it does is the more we become who we are and us at our higher vibration, more whole, then we first fall in love with ourselves. And that's number one. Otherwise, we might attract a lover, but they are just pieces of what's broken in us, and that never works for too long. So keep building your beauty. What happens is when we become more whole and more of our divine self, our radiance goes much further. So there might be somebody who is destined to meet you, and he can somehow sense your radiance because it's stronger than ever before. But if you're needy, of course, then it's not strong at all. But if you're just radiant and expressing your beautiful divine self, then he might get up one day and think, I'm going to go for a bike ride now. And that might be the day where you decide, I'm going to go for a bike ride now. So the best thing to do is, everyone always ask me questions when I do oracle readings, what are my blocks to relationship? Stop looking at our blocks. Just get more and more radiant, because our soul is magnetic to the best things for us that we don't know is best, because we sometimes choose the worst thing thinking it's right. How many times have we done that? So just keep balancing and harmonizing your greater light, and know that that is immensely attractive, and it works on all levels of the cosmos, and just wait for the universe to deliver. And your intuition will tell you what to do. Go now and do this. So good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of your wisdom. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Kate, and have fun in Sedona. Wonderful. Okay, so Jonette, we spoke earlier about your I am chant. Can you go over that one more time with us, or maybe lead us in a short experience of that?
Wow, that's interesting to even think I can do that. All right. Well, the experience is just, we say I am that I am and all this, and it's just a mental construct. It was for me, and I didn't realize that what was getting in my way of what I am is that I'm so much into I want this and that. And so I just lifted to a higher place where I didn't do it. All of a sudden, I just realized that I had moved from I want to I am. And I realized it in the middle of chanting I am. So let's you and I both just chant it a few times. And I don't know how I've never transmitted an initiation like this, so let's see if it gets transmitted.
Okay.
Just let yourself be in that space, and pretty soon the I disappears, and you move to a space of just am, of just being. And maybe we've started it now on this call, or maybe sometime when you're next meditating or when you're going to sleep tonight. Try that. And you don't even have to chant it out loud. I only chanted it out loud a few times, and then I just said it myself for this initiation to happen. So it's time. This is the year of emergence. It's the time of us emerging into something that we didn't even know was possible.
Yes, a wonderful year, a year of emergence. And that am is add another letter, U, in the middle, and that's Om. So very wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. I know we're all going to be doing that when we wake up in the middle of the night, or just when we need to connect, and also the beautiful process of soul-body fusion. Jonette Crowley, thank you for being here on Healing, Quantum Conversations now.
Yes.
And that's why our conversations went quantum, because we are really embodying divinity, and this allows us to tap into that authentic self and really walk our talk. As we say goodbye today, any last words for our listeners?
Just love yourselves and know that there are so many life forces and life flows, and when we're always looking for the right path and the right lover and the right job and the right house and all the right things. And my guide Mark once said, when you are right, everything is right. so instead of looking outside, Soul Body Fusion helps you be the right you, not like anyone else, but the right you, and then everything seems to fall into place.
What about people tapping into their inner guidance a little bit better? This absolutely is par for the course.
Totally, they can get in touch with their guidance, and sometimes it's not an external guide like a white eagle or someone else. It's they become more intuitive.
Thank you, too, for listening and sharing in this space today. We leave you now with music from the universe, literally sacred geometry of music, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com.
you.